It's dark. It's night. Snow is falling. There, in that darkness, the stars shine across the trees of what was once Pennsylvania. Cities and streets don't matter any longer. Everything has been lost. The world ended so long ago. A virus took down most of civilization. A handful of survivors struggle now in the middle of all of it, hoping to pull themselves out of the mire and back into the light. Many of the children of this world don't remember what civilization looks like. They were raised in the wild. The only thing that has tethered them to our world, the world that was, is the scattered and rare VHS cassette tapes that are gathered by individuals known as rag and bone merchants. These merchants travel from civilization and settlement to settlement, offering their wares, food, water, anything that could be bartered. They're a lifeline that connect all the varied settlements and areas within this land. Here, the difference between life and death is very simple. A little food, a little water, a roof over your head, shelter from the dead that roam, and they far, far outnumber the living. In this region, they're known as Romeros, a tongue-in-cheek moniker that spread like wildfire. The dead, however, do not rot the way that they should, and things have been changing. And here, in this dark night in the middle of the woods, with the stars stretching out over the fresh fallen snow, this blanket of whiteness reveals a single figure standing on a ridge, looking down at the scattered flashing lights of what looks like an old ruined shopping mall. Chelsea, would you like to describe your character to us?
Yeah, my character's name is DT Spice. She is just a wild kid who's been out on her own for many years. She doesn't really know anyone, so she actually feels more comfortable among the dead than she does with actual people. She is very energetic and happy, but at the same time doesn't really have much empathy for people or things. So she just is more take what she wants, and she doesn't really understand the emotions of others.
She's been removed from people for so long, and these feral children of the apocalypse, while they roam through this wasteland, they often gather in small packs and work together to find supplies and survive for a short while, but oftentimes they will break away. They will find their own path. They will form new groups and collectives. But often, moving through this world alone is the safest way to do so. And DT Spice, what do you look like?
She looks worn down, obviously by the elements. She usually has to just stay outside, as she doesn't trust going inside most times, because she likes to see her surroundings at all times. She has really just like long, ragged hair, but she has seen a lot of these tapes around and is influenced by the style. So she always tries to find like luxury coats, and she likes to try her best to make it look like she's a part of them.
Are you carrying a weapon?
Yeah, she has a scythe, sort of like the Grim Reaper, is the best way to put it, because she feels like she walks around among the dead. She likes to keep it.
It's not a normal scythe, though, is it? It's a pickaxe that
Yeah.
you've fashioned into what looks like a scythe. You've
Yeah.
wrapped rope around a long handle and made something with your own hands that has protected you many times from the dead. But there's something else there, another figure that stands on this ridge next to you. It shambles slowly, a female form, rotten and broken. Part of her jaw is missing. Flesh hangs loosely around her face, and her eyes are white and dead. She's dressed in a colorful array of cloth. Bows and ribbons have been tied to her. Makeup has been created, paint almost, and placed across her face. And she walks up next to you. What do you do?
I stand up and then I put my arm around the figure because it is actually Ramiro. That looks like my sister that I like to keep around with me. She'll try to bite, but I just use the pickaxe side to like push her away a little bit. You know, it's just sister things. She always likes to pick on me.
She's being particularly rambunctious tonight. She keeps pushing towards you, but something about the lights in this structure off in the distance that the two of you are looking at there's something draws her to it. Maybe a memory of who she used to be. But there's something about this large, flat field of broken concrete and these sparse, flashing lights. You can see large wires and other things that are hanging from these poles in the middle, and there's entirely large walls that have been gathered together of old vehicles that are all rusted out, and they form a barricade. And there are people. They're moving around. Some of them are carrying weapons. What do you do?
I sit there and I tried to decide for a little bit, and then I turn to my sister Sugar and I ask her what we should do.
She starts moving forward, walking down the ridge.
I know she's hungry and I see the people, so I follow her in hopes that we can get her something to eat.
The two of you begin walking.
We want to go cautiously, so I always put her in front.
It sounds to me like you'd like to make the first roll of this campaign.
Yeah.
So how would you like to move quietly? Which of your skills would you like to use to do that? Can I suggest stealth?
Yeah, you could suggest stealth. That's good.
So all you need to do is roll your percentile dice.
Okay.
And we're going to determine how well you succeed at that. You roll both your 10s and your 1s of your percentile, which
Okay.
are both those dice. And we're going to compare it to your total. You want to roll low in Outbreak Undead.
Okay.
And then we're going to determine the degrees of success or failure that you create.
It's a 5 and 2 zeros.
That's very good. For the first roll, you have rolled 5%. Now, what is your stealth score at currently on your character sheet?
The total is 66.
So you needed to roll below a 66 to be successful here. You have so many degrees of success here. I'm going to say that you manage to get very close to this encampment without being seen. However, in these woods, you are not alone. So I would like to ask Achira what she's doing.
Well, at this point, Achira is on one of her usual scouting missions where she's training her small posse of wild children how to stop just looking out for each other, and also start looking out for the community.
Excellent.
And they're in the woods right now.
How many are with you?
3.
3 of them? Very well. And I think that they've all spread out, and you are currently staying back a little to try and keep an eye on them, see how they're working together, seeing if they're remaining quiet and unseen. I think it's fair to say that with Chelsea's amazing role, however, that DT manages to slip past their perception, their view, and into an area that's very close to the walls of Pine Haven. Pine Haven is the mall that you have become a part of, the community that you've become a part of. We'll talk more about it very soon. But this is your home, it's your fortress, a citadel that's been constructed out of the ruins of an old abandoned shopping mall. And so Achira, you're watching over this, and I'd like for you to make a spot listen check for me.
A 30 and a 4, so it's 34.
Okay, and your spot listen is
It's a
current-
49.
So you do have success. You have 1 degree. Would you like to spend some competency to change that? You have 3 to start with.
Okay. I'll go ahead and use one of my competency points, and I will bump that up to 2 degrees of success.
Shockingly, it seems as if a Romero has broken past the outer barricades, the outer watches. You see just a little bit of a shambling corpse that walks, and it seems to be alone, but it moves past the trees and then disappears behind another one.
Remote control.
Yep, we copy.
I got a Romero out here. Somehow it got pretty far in.
They've been real feisty recently, haven't they?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of how it was a year ago.
Well, I mean, we've been trying to do our best to clear them, but, you know, even with the East Wing the way that it's been, we've been trying our best. Look, what do you recommend? Do you want me to talk to Faith and see if we can get a deployment out there?
No, I think me and the kids can take care of it. I've got a Blossom, Bebe, and TV out here.
All right. Well, if you need backup, say the word. There's a lot of greenhorns on that watch.
Yeah, but they were surviving out here before we were.
Yeah, but they weren't surviving trying to protect our asses.
Fair enough. This might be good for them. It looks like just 1 right now. If there's more, then I'll call for backup.
All right. Well, we're here. Do your best. Over and out.
Achira's going to do a signal over to TV, try to get Blossom's attention, and Bebe's kid is right there next to her.
All right, so I'm gonna say, so you've contacted TV who's closer, and then you're gonna try to have a signal kind of work through these feral ones?
Yeah.
TV's pretty quick, but not as quick as you would like. It does see your signal, but seems to be distracted, is looking out into the distance, and you catch them looking up at the stars at one point, and then looking back down. They're clearly, they've got some wanderlust. They see your signal though, and they signal back. They make a couple of quick movements with their hands, and then they turn and try to communicate a little further down the line. It starts happening very quickly. It finally gets over to Bebe, and Bebe starts to move towards the area that you direct them to.
The Romero.
The Romero. All right. You, while you're carefully moving through, start to realize that there are others out here, and they're not dead. There are people moving about you, and Sugar is shambling, and you've managed to kind of steer her in a way that she's a little less conspicuous, but you think that you might have been spotted. You see movement in a tree above you. Aye, aye. What's this? Are you lost?
I'm just food for my sister. She's hungry.
You're not dead. She is. What the rockadoodle's going on here?
She's fine. She's just hungry. She doesn't know how to talk when she's hungry.
That's a biter. You're carrying a biter around with you?
No, she's just hungry. I don't understand what, she doesn't bite.
Keep her right there. Don't move, okay? I don't want to fill you with arrows, but I will.
I want to turn to Sugar and ask her if we should run.
Sugar starts moving towards the tree, reaching upward. You see this figure, and what are Bebe's pronouns?
Bebe's she, her.
Okay, she, her, and she's got a pretty rough look to her, I'm gonna say. She's got a vest on, she's got a quiver with arrows on her back, and she's knocking an arrow right now and holding it to you. But you can see that this is a kindred spirit. This is somebody who only knows the wild. They know it very well. They look like, because of the furs and all of the leather that they carry, like maybe they haven't seen as many of the pictures that you have. Maybe they don't know enough about the world yet, but it's similar. And you can see in their eyes that they're curious about you. And they're not really violent right now, but they're doing what they need to keep you and this monster at bay.
Mm-hmm.
A signal comes back to you, Achira. The signal, which is a series of hand motions, gives you a number. 2, 1 human, 1 dead.
That should just be 1 human by this point. Why would they keep a dead? Achira's going to move forward.
You start moving forward. Meanwhile, Bebe's in the tree, looking down at you. You got a name? What's your handle?
How can I trust you?
You came to my home.
Name's Deetsy.
Deetsy and Bebe. I don't want to hurt you. You look like you're wild too.
It's better out there. What are you doing over here with walls?
I don't like them, but they help. There's food. It's getting harder. Have you seen the ones that run?
The ones that run? We all run.
Not us. Them.
Don't make any sense. You don't sound like anything I've seen before.
I'm on the level. Are you?
Look, I just want to get out of here. I don't understand these questions.
They could help you if you want, but you can't carry a dead with you. That biter's gotta go.
She just needs food. She's friendly. Really, you'll like her. You'll like her a lot.
At that point, another figure, 2 actually, step out, and there's now a small circle, like a semicircle. You can move back, Deetsy, but you can't go forward without confronting the individuals here. And so you see a number of other individuals. Some of them are more colorful than the other ones. Some have bright pink flashes in their hair. They look cleaner than most of the feral ones that you've seen before. And they all regard you with wide, curious eyes. Some of them smile, but all of them, when they notice what's next to you, drop their smiles. Achira, would you like to describe yourself?
Achira is my skin complexion, tall, and is not as wiry as she used to be. She's put on some good pounds in the right places. It's kind of helped being able to live behind walls as opposed to always climbing trees and being alone and being an isolationist. Because her mannerisms have changed, her body has changed along with it. She's dyed her hair It's blonde in places, colored in others. If anything, it looks like the wild children have rubbed off on her in that way. So it's more muted colors, purples and dark pinks. And it does not look professional in any way, shape, or form. It is obvious that the wild children did it for her.
I think, well, there is no such thing as a professional dye job in the apocalypse.
Not anymore.
But I believe that maybe you've created a memorial to Malibu Stacy, one of the first wild children that you really got to know. Your hair is a replication of that, and maybe you didn't intend for it to be, but you've noticed in the mirror, when you look at the cracked mirror in your encampment, you've noticed it now, and whenever you look at it, you think about her, and about the time all of you spent together when you were a rag and bone merchant, when you were traveling with Lampwick and the others. There's someone in front of you, Achira. Another one, another lost soul, but this one's different.
Surround the Romero.
What do you mean? She's fine. She's not gonna hurt you guys. You're overreacting. You've never seen the trap people in the photos. They move among the dead. It's fine.
What do you call yourself? I'm Achira. Achira Sampson.
DT Spice.
I know it looks kind of weird over there, right? Us behind our walls. Walls keep things out, but they also keep people in. I get that. I used to live outside the walls myself. This Romero, do you call it something?
Her name is Sugar.
Why is that her name? What does it mean to you?
She's my sister.
Blossom speaks up. Your sister's dead.
She's not dead. What are you talking about? She looks fine. Look at her skin. She's fine.
OMG, I can smell her from here.
You guys are not being cool.
DT, have you seen others like your sister? Have you seen what they do? Romeros, the dead. We also call them biters.
Yeah, but she's special. You just don't understand.
I understand a lot. I've been going through this since the beginning. I understand a lot, DT. That Romero isn't your sister anymore. Not anymore. And if she is in there, even a little part of her is in there, she hates what she's become. I know that too, because I lost someone to a bite, and he hated what he became.
She's gonna come back.
It's impossible for her to.
You don't know that, though.
Think of it like this. When you have paper and you put fire to the paper, you can't put the paper back together again. That's what bites do to them. That's what Romeros are. They're ash. The person is gone.
You're upsetting her, see?
She can't be upset. She can only eat.
Sugar reaches up and grabs a scrap of fabric on her sleeve. It's pink and brightly colored. She rips it off of her sleeve and offers it to Blossom.
What the hell?
That's her offering. See, she's trying to communicate. You just don't understand. You haven't seen what I've seen.
I haven't seen that, but I've seen a lot. Does it talk? Does it say words?
Yeah, she tries. She knows words. We both don't know a lot of words. We've been trying to learn how to read. I've been trying to teach her.
Have you fed anyone to her?
I mean, she likes snacks. Yeah.
Like animals or people, DT?
What's the difference? She's hungry. She eats what she finds. That's what we all do.
I'm gonna do what is called a compromise for you. Normally, I would protect you by killing that thing and taking it out of its misery. What a compromise is me not doing that, but me also making sure that that can't bite anybody that I care about. Deal?
Sugar, is that okay?
The Romero turns and looks at you. Her eyes are white blue. And she looks back at you, Achira, and takes one step forward.
Utilizing a slashing hatchet-like device that Achira has, she's going to whack off the rest of the jaw so that this Romero can't bite. And then is going to bind around the wound if possible.
You're very quick. Achira has become a well-trained warrior in this wasteland. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to make you make a roll, but I am going to ask you, is anything else going to happen in the scene as this is happening?
Yeah, I think DC wants to try to pull Sugar back as she whacks to try to save half of her mouth.
You grab her and pull her back, and I think we can narrate through this. Do the two of you agree to that?
Yeah.
How do you think that this will resolve itself when you slightly miss your strike?
DT, we had a deal. I'm not gonna let this thing keep its teeth. That's what the deal is.
You said make sure she couldn't bite. You didn't say ruin her face. How's she going to talk again when she comes back?
She can still make words, but those teeth are going to go. Either I do it this way, or I give you a pair of pliers and you do it yourself.
I guess Sugar said it was okay. And we can go in and check out the stores?
And then you can go in. With us as company.
And Sugar can come too?
Sugar will get its own room and will be there unharmed when you come back. I can promise you that.
We can make a promise.
Do you keep your promises, DT?
We can see about that in the future.
I need you to keep this promise.
We can keep this promise. As long as no one else harms Sugar.
I promise.
I think Sugar, DT wants to look away while this happens. She doesn't want to watch it.
You don't see what happens, but you hear the wet cutting sound of the knife as it rakes through her rotten flesh. There is still an upper jaw and a tongue that's lolling out from an open hole now. The face that looks at you, Achira, reminds you of Lampwick. There's something behind those eyes. They're not vacant. They're not empty.
Achira looks into the eyes while she's wrapping the binding around this open wound. I'm Achira. Do you... Oh my God, I'm talking to Romero. Do you know anyone named Lampwick?
The eyes continue to look at you, Achira. And then her hand reaches up and she touches the colorful parts of your hair, and her eyes seem to move to them. And then this corpse reaches to its own clothing and touches a patch of pink, looking down at it.
Okay, let's go inside. DT, stay close to me. TV, Bebe. Put this Romero in restraints, and separate into the cage. Make sure that no one touches this Romero.
It's a tall order, but we'll try. You know how a lot of them are. And your feral children of the apocalypse do as you ask. While they're still rough around the edges and very new to the walls and structure of your community, they follow orders. They follow orders better than some of the echoes, those who have lived through the fall, those who knew civilization. Those echoes, those remains of a world with structure and civilization, they're so much more difficult. And while the feral children that you found need special care and understanding, and each of them has their own particular eccentricities, they are very, very good at what they do. Sugar's let off, and you get the sense that she's not being harmed at all. And she looks back at you over her shoulder as she walks through the snow with these strange young people. She doesn't have the lower part of her jaw, but her dead eyes are smiling at you. And she turns and keeps walking, and you and Achira are left alone.
This place better be worth it.
It is.
Just want to take what I need and go.
Do you have anything for trade?
I can get stuff. I'm good at scavenging.
Okay, well, either things or skills that people can do, we'll give you things for. Does that make sense?
You make sense. I'm not used to working with people. I don't trust you, but as long as I get Sugar back.
I don't expect you to trust me. Trust is earned. But I used to be out here, so I understand what it's like. And I would hope to think that the fact that you see that they listen to me means something too. There are echoes in Pine Haven that aren't like me, though. Are like them. Have you seen any of the tapes? And Achira's going to start walking to Pine Haven.
The two of you walk through the snow, and it's falling through the sky now. It's night, and a few of the backup generators have been enacted so that there's a perimeter of light. You have visitors. You have people coming in. It's rare, but it does happen from time to time. You see, Pine Haven is so far off of the known map of the Penn region that it's almost entirely inaccessible. It's very difficult to get here or to get out of here. It's surrounded by a veritable sea of the dead. It's a place that you were all taken to. It barely resembles a shopping mall any longer. It's been refitted and built into this fortress. And it stands outside the normal trade routes of the world that you know. It's in the outskirts of an abandoned suburb of what was once known as Pittsburgh. It has limited power, as a number of survivors that have gathered here are skilled enough to be able to rebuild and maintain the old automotive engines that they've created into electric generators. There are some sections of the sprawling complex that do not get entered. There are still dead here. They've been closed off, walled away. Too many of them to deal with. Most of this place, the walls, they've been ruined. The glass was shattered long ago, not long after the fall, probably. Looters have gutted most everything out of the concrete structure, but it's provided a secure and safe starting place for your community. And you've all worked together to build something out of the ashes of this place. The community is comprised mostly of outcasts and vagabonds, drifters that didn't have a connection to other communities. Most of them have been brought in by Achira, but many of them were here already when you arrived. Some were drawn in by a rag and bone merchant known as Kusanagi, who led others here under an urban legend of an individual named Blockbuster who had found a nuclear fallout shelter that had been built in the 1970s during the Cold War. It was told to all of you that this place had this wonderful resource underneath it. No one's been able to confirm that it exists, and there are plenty of access tunnels and basement storage, but there's no secret fallout shelter here. Just walls and a large, broken concrete lot that you can use. Nature has taken over much of it. There's plant life and trees that are grown in the middle of this shopping center. But the walls have been shored up, and the dead aren't able to easily enter. But like I said, you have guests. There's a number of large, rugged, refitted vehicles sitting in this parking lot not far away. On them, emblazoned in spray paint, is a skull with a sword through the middle of it, the symbol of the group that you know as the Citadel. It's the first of the month. That means time to trade, time to negotiate. And at the center of this negotiation, in a room, sits a very, very serious woman. Her face is unmoving as she sits across from a number of individuals. Most of them are wearing refitted military gear, armor that's been created out of all of the remains of salvage junkyards. But it is uniformly painted, blacks and greens, with American flags stitched to the side. Seated across from this woman is a man smoking a cigar. He is rough. He has a graying beard, close-cropped hair, and a smarmy look on his face. He's powerfully built, but his swagger, you know, is often used to deflect people, to catch them off guard. And he knows that he's not going to be able to do that here because this man, General James Riggs of the Reclamation Front of the Citadel, is your former mentor, Faith. Would you like to describe yourself?
Sure. Faith has always sort of been very tall, very muscular up top from doing all the training with the Citadel in the before times. Since coming to the center, she looks fairly the same, except that every month she makes a point to grab all her hair and cut it off whenever neighbors around, to keep it away from Romero's, less things to pull on, less ways to die. She has less military gear on than she did when she entered this place. They've done a lot of scavenging around the shopping center, found comfortable, warm clothes for the winter, thick clothes to avoid getting bitten all the way to the skin. But her hair is black, short. Her skin looks kind of scratched off in places around her neck. She's developed nervous tics from the responsibility of having to take care of all these people suddenly. She wasn't meant to be a leader here, but she has the most experience with organizing large groups of people for the military, so that's just kind of what happened.
I think she has a lot of scars, too. You made it out of the Battle of Three Rivers. You survived. You're one of the only survivors. You lost a lot of good people. A lot of friends and allies died in the middle of that stadium with the dead swarming under the control of the strange missionaries. Riggs looks at you. I assume we're still talking here. You are listening to me, right?
Just make this fast. It's the same every month.
Sure, it's the same every month, but we can enjoy the art of negotiation. Let's you and me have a little discourse. I gotta tell you, you know how much I love my home. The Citadel is the best that this region has to offer, notwithstanding all the amazing work that you've done around here, Faith. Honestly, you were one of our best, and anytime you change your mind and want to come back, you know we'd have you with open arms.
Good.
So let's talk. What is it that you need? What does your community want? Because the Rag and Bone and the Ender's Line is about a year gone now. Nobody's coming through here. It's me and my troops. So what you want, we can bring you.
Well, as per usual, we can offer you scavenged food, water source. But what we need is, unfortunately, more weaponry. We are low on things that can kill out here, or low on bullets. Our guns, from time to time, go missing. It's just the way it is out there. And we probably need, well, we're all running out of gas, aren't we?
Yeah, don't remind me. I'm gonna find the assholes responsible for that shit show, and I'm gonna hang them high. Citadel justice is quick. Don't you worry. We'll get a new biodiesel plant up and running. There's going to be fuel again. Electrics are going to be running through all the communities that are under our protection. You got my word on that. But you need ammo. Well, you know what we've got. We are fully stocked. The walls of the Citadel still have plenty to offer. In fact, we're manufacturing much of our own now, renewing that ever so precious resource. But food and water, Breadbasket takes care of us. Why would we need scavenged food and water from all the wildlings that Achira's been pulling in? We need something more tangible than that.
What were you thinking, exactly? We are completely, as you mentioned earlier, locked in by hordes of Romeros. We mainly keep to ourselves. All we need is a way to defend ourselves. But we don't have too much more to offer, unless you count all the weird art the kids have been making lately.
You know me, I'm not touching that art with a 10-foot pole. No. I do have an idea, though. We need people. We need people that we can trust. People that have a certain amount of loyalty to the Citadel to help us put down a few dissidents within our current protectorate.
You know what I always say to that? I will let people know that if they want a way out, to try something different, they are allowed to choose to go with you. You cannot force anyone to go with you. And I will not make anyone leave that doesn't want to go.
I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I want willing soldiers. People who want to fight. So, let's say after I make my pitch, we get 5, maybe 6 of your souls that are here. Strong of arm, quick, smart. I see that as worth a fair trade, something that you can use. And of course, they're willing. And the weapons that we have will help you find others.
I'll ask around. No promises. If we don't get more ammo, we don't get more ammo. We will make it somehow.
Yeah, well, call me sentimental, but I remember when you were about knee-high. And I don't like to see someone that I've trained in a bad spot. As far as I'm concerned, you're still family. He draws deep in his cigar and kind of puffs out this cloud of smoke. So we're going to give you half up front, just so you can maintain this place that you've gathered around. I'm assuming, given that you don't have anything to trade, you didn't find this mythical pot of gold that this blockbuster character had.
We don't waste resources on things that don't exist. If people feel like they want to look for that in their free time, they can do so. I've not been diverting any time or labor to that. It's pointless.
I'm glad to hear it. You're doing pretty well. I always said you were a leader. You're proving it to be true. Rowan would be very proud.
Who knows?
Look, I gotta go. We have a little bit of that moonshine that was baked up off of the bread basket. I thought I'd leave some of that behind, and could you do me a favor?
Is it about Achira?
Oh, well, you know. I happened to hear from a little bird that she's been nagging every single individual from the Citadel that walks through here about a certain hand scythe.
She loves the things that she loves. I don't know. Why,
Well,
did you find it?
Yeah, on a scouting mission, somebody brought it back from the road, and I wrapped it up real pretty for her. Was hoping you could give it to her.
Incredible. What a great bride this is gonna make. You don't want anything in return for this?
Oh no, that's a gift. Just tell her it's with love from Honey Bunny.
I probably won't.
So be it. Riggs stands up, looks at you for a moment, places a hand on your shoulder, and then walks out with his troops. As he does so, someone else enters. A young, scrappy figure. Would you like to describe Polly Pocket?
Absolutely. Polly looks a bit different from her appearance a year ago, whereas she was very much tied into the Wild Children when the group first met her. She's lost her family and has found a new one. And so her blonde hair that used to be colored with pink and blue has kind of grown out and been cut to about shoulder length, and the pink and blue is kind of like just at the fringes now. She wears a black leather coat, kind of in a small echo of Achira, came through with it one day, and stands pretty average height at about 5'8". Still has a little bit of that positivity and resilience in her expression, but it's tempered now. She's grown a year older physically, but has probably grown older than a year mentally. And she gives Faith a look and says, by your expression, it doesn't seem it went very well.
Oh no, it'll be fine if we can just trick 5 people into going to the Citadel to have fun and games. So no, not great, but...
And that's bad.
Yes. But you know what, there's some people here who... Listen, we came here, there were already people here, they've been here for a lot longer than us. They are probably itching to get out, so I'll put the offer up, but I won't force anyone to go. If we don't get the 5 to 6 people to go to Riggs, then we're gonna have to figure out a new way to defend ourselves here, which is not great.
So, I thought you hated the Citadel.
It's really complicated. They gave us this place, didn't they?
Yeah. If you think it's the right choice, I can help you try to convince people.
Honestly, I want to give people here choices. I don't want to make anyone do anything. I don't even want to be the leader of this damn place. I just want people to live how they want to live. It's impossible the way everything's set up now. To give them an option to leave, I don't know. Maybe people want to go, and that's maybe the only safe way to get out of here by yourself. If you think about it.
I guess.
None of these choices are great. Stay here, get eaten by horde mares outside, go there, murder a bunch of people, feel bad about it. It's not, none of it's really great.
It's not really a lot of choices.
It's not good. Yeah. But how about you? How have you been settling in?
I'm good. I've got my spot. You know, sometimes I pop out with Achira and the kids, so that's good.
Speaking of, weren't you supposed to be out with them on the recon mission?
Yeah, about that. I kind of did a little dodge and weave. I just didn't.
Did you sleep in?
No,
Okay, just checking.
I did not sleep in. I got up at the appropriate time, at the appropriate place, and decided not to go.
This uncomfortable conversation is very, very quickly cut short as somebody busts through the doors behind you. His name is Arlo, and he's one of the people that was here before any of you. Part of a group of sort of post-apocalyptic techies that use what they can, build what they can, using the parts that they find. A scavenger. Arlo is portly and broad of shoulder, sort of has a broad, almost childlike face. Chestnut skin and hair that has been pulled back into a huge top knot that sort of splays out. And here, the feral children seem to have also gotten a hold of Arlo and done a little bit of color work that was meant to be green, but has come out more like a nasty yellow puke color. Arlo looks at you, Faith. Boss, it seems like we've got chatter on the walkie, and Achira's done it again.
More kids?
Uh-huh. Yeah, but this one's a little different. They brought a corpse with them.
Why?
I don't know, but Achira made it okay. So I guess it's okay, right?
I better go down there and see what's going on.
Yeah, we were all not really excited about confronting Achira. I'm not gonna lie. She scares me, and I don't want to have her yell at me again.
She's not gonna kill you.
I don't think that's what her eyes are telling me,
Okay,
but
right.
I will take that as some sort of promise that you won't allow her to. I tried to get the power to the water heaters. I tried. I know it was really cold, but it really wasn't my fault.
This is a whole separate conversation. Okay, all right. I'll go down. You said that are they in holding, or where is Achira now?
Holding.
All right, I'll head down. Just go back to work.
He shuffles off down the hallway and starts to tinker with a radio that he has in his hands as he's walking, not really paying attention to where he's going. Do you follow after Polly?
Yeah, Polly follows after, like, really closely behind Faith and is like, what does made it okay mean?
What? I don't know.
Made it, it's a corpse. What does he mean by made it okay?
I don't know. We're gonna go find out. So ask me questions I don't know the answers to. So make our way down to holding.
Yeah, so you walk out from this conference area that you've created in what was once a floral shop. And you're now in an open pavilion, and it spreads out, and there are levels, concrete stairs that go up and down into various places here, and a walkway that wraps all the way around with these bridges that once had glass on them, but now just have these rusted metal pieces. The ceiling here is partially caved in, and vines and other growth have propagated above you. And there's something sort of soothing and natural about it. Nature has taken back so much of this place, but as I said before, the walls are still very secure. And as you walk down, the two of you, everyone seems to take note of you, Faith, and looks at you. And there are a mixture of looks. Most of them are of respect. Some of them you've had confrontations with. Being a leader within this community hasn't been easy, and you've had to lay down the law more than once. But there are a lot of people here. You've created a place for people. There are 30 to 35 souls at any given time, with others out scavenging and working the area. And even though you're surrounded by the dead on all sides, if you're well armed and careful, it is possible to get through these places, to make it in and out of the rest of the Pin region. Riggs was telling the truth, though. Nobody else makes it here. And recently, it's been harder and harder to scavenge anything, and impossible to trade with others because they're too far out. You send people out, they're gone for a month, trying to bring back food and water. It's not working. There are gardens here, and underneath, in what used to be a series of fountains, there are crops that have been grown. And there are areas in other parts of the mall that provide all of you with food. There are chicken that are kept in certain coops on an area of what used to be a hot topic. There are cows, and you have a number of horses as well. You do have a storehouse of biodiesel that you traded for. However, it's running very low. And so power is now being rationed. You make it through, and you find yourself in holding, standing in front of Achira, and a strange, wild child that you've never seen before.
I see us visitors stay out there. Did the shit stain come back?
Oh, yeah. I brought a present for you, too. We'll get to that in a minute. I hear you brought a new friend, plus Romero?
Yeah. I know what it sounds like.
Bad?
I understand exactly what it sounds like. First things first. This is DT.
Hi.
DT, these are my friends. This is Faith and Polly Pocket. Polly used to, well, I think you can tell.
They both look like behind wall people to me.
Yeah,
Oh.
and we like it back here. What's your deal, bud?
I'm bored. I've just been sitting here. It's much better outside.
I didn't mean right now, I meant... Achira,
Yeah, remember, you can't be too literal. I mean, literally we're gonna go to the store very soon.
The store?
We're gonna go to the
Well, we
store.
can get jackets and stuff, right?
We'll see what they have.
That's what I want.
And we'll see what you can give so that you can get the thing.
You always bring
Have
that
to
up.
give something to get something.
Deal.
Okay. Yeah, this is sugar.
Behind a cage is a Romero with its lower jaw removed. It's dressed in bright colors and a dress.
Okay, before we get into this, Sugar, would you mind introducing yourself to my friends?
The Romero looks to you, Achira, looks questioningly to you.
It's okay, Sugar. They're okay. They're not gonna hurt you. You also can't eat them.
Pulls a green piece of cloth off that looks similar to the jacket that you're wearing and holds it out to you from the cage.
kind of grab a pencil on that ear.
So that is a thing.
Is this, okay, so Romero that can understand people still.
Is it that out of the realm of possibility, though? I mean, think about it. We did run into so many of the kinds that could speak, could run. transformed into abominations. One that hunted me for months, calling out my name. We didn't even think about the other side of it, that, like with Lampwick, where we know what happened to Lampwick, but it's possible that he might still be Lampwick, because look at Sugar.
I hear what you're saying, Achira.
Are you though?
And
Are you hearing me, Faith? Because if he is in there, we left him.
if he is in there, he's still one of them. So this sounds real weird, but he'll be okay there. We wouldn't be okay there, where he is. And if this means that some of the Romero are still retaining their, I don't even want to call it humanity, what do you propose we do? Go around asking all of them yes and no questions? And
You know, I don't have answers to that. You know I'm usually a shoot first.
I know. So you want to keep, and this is super wild to me, but we're gonna keep this one here
Yes.
to observe it? Or are we doing research here? What's the greater picture exactly?
Research. It's my sister. We're gonna leave.
Is this
I made
really-
a promise
Okay.
to DT that they're going to check out the store, and by that I mean DT is going to check out the store, see if there's anything there that they'd like. If they enjoy that, then they'll trade a skill for it, and they can take it. I promised nothing would happen to Sugar, and when they want to leave, they can. Both of them.
Okay. Achira, I'm trusting on this, so let's do this properly. Do we still have walkie-talkies?
You do. Arlo and some of the others have managed to piece together parts that you brought with you. The rest of the groups had a few scattered radios. Others were able to salvage CBs from all of the old abandoned semi-trucks that were lined across the remains of the highway. Wiring and all of that took a long time to gather together, but you do have a loose network. It's easy for you to radio out from time to time, but the bigger problem is the power that it requires. You have some homemade batteries that have been created, but they're bulky and large. They're not easy to carry. They're also very acidic and dangerous. If they crack open or if they get shot, you can burn yourself very easily. All of this said, yes, you do have limited radio capabilities.
Okay. I decided to radio in to Arlo. Okay, get the researchers down here. We have a new thread in this whole zombie thing. Let's put this puzzle piece back together. During my time at the Citadel, what I told Riggs is exactly true. If you look at all the, big bulletin boards in my office or in my quarters, they all kind of flip around, and there's a section where I have organized maps of what we've researched and discovered in this area and what's cut off and where we still have to go look. So there's a team of people whose job it is that are part of the techies to continue trying to find another way to power this place, looking for, we're also still looking for that bunker, and also to sort of research the ins and outs of the Romero, since we are trying to observe their behavior and figure out if there are more like Lampwick, if there are certain colonies of Romeros around us that are runners, are they walkers, like how advanced they are and how we can get through those places. So I feel like in the year we've been here, we've been tracking all of that information.
I agree. I think that that's a very viable solution to sort of the information that you've come across. However, I think I'm going to need you to make a command roll. And in making this command roll, you're going to determine exactly how successful this is. I'm going to tell you that there are a few people within this encampment, within this community, that are very easily riled up. This hasn't been roses all the way. It's been difficult. There are personalities here, people who think that they deserve more than perhaps they've gotten, people who think that because of their specific skills that they aren't required to do menial tasks. One of these individuals is a man known as Declan. Declan is perhaps about 40, 45, an echo. Quiet, dark hair slicked back. Close, always, is Arlo and a few of the others that came through Kusanagi. They all talk. They exclude others from their conversations and their cook fires. And they're separated more often than not. However, Declan is a very intelligent researcher. Somebody who knows an awful lot about the world before it fell. Has resources and has spoken more than once about the possibility of finding electronic files that might be able to help your work here. How did you do?
That is a 76.
76. What is your command skill
For some
currently?
reason, it's only 25, and I feel like it's real low from what it used to be.
It's true. It is low. So when we hand out Gestalt, which is your experience, we'll be able to level that up. However, currently, that is a pretty large failure. Do you wish to use any competency points to correct that? We have had some generosity that has been supportive.
Oh, amazing.
And I will talk to you all about that more often. However, you still have a few competency points that you generated at the very beginning of this session.
Yes. That's 4 degrees of failure according to my rough math. So I will go ahead and use, so early we're doing this, 5 points of composure, or competency, sorry.
Yeah.
To make that 1 degree of success.
With 1 degree of success, no one questions your orders. The research team gathers together and they start working. Meanwhile, Achira, do you take your new friend into Pinehaven?
Achira's, yeah.
Before Achira does, I think Polly, who has stayed quiet, will step forward, reach underneath her leather jacket where there are just so many bangles, and will offer one to DT.
A hand comes out and takes it before you can get it to her. It pulls at the bangle. Sugar has the other end and looks at you with large, dead eyes.
Yeah, she likes shiny objects. She would like to have it.
It's for you.
I'd rather my sister have it.
Pulls back.
Eventually, Sugar lets go and looks down at the floor.
You made her sad.
Yeah, you made
It's
her
okay.
sad, Polly.
We'll get you some stuff, Sugar. We're gonna get a lot of stuff here. And we'll get you something to eat, don't worry. Not her. Something else.
We have, obviously we have meat that we can give Sugar to eat.
Yeah, great.
Oh, I'm sorry, is there kind of an issue? I thought you were supposed to be on recon with me today.
Achira, that thing that called your name, I shot that. Lampwick's child, you shot that. Maybe they can talk, but they still want to kill. We saw that.
If this one, Polly, if this one can be different, then maybe Lampwick can be different.
Not different enough.
You don't understand what me and Lampwick went through. No one here can understand that. And it's too hard to explain what it's like out there when you've been so alone and you've known better than that. When you're born into it, you get really good at it, but when it's forced on you, and we only had our little group. Juniper, Lampwick, and by some extension, later on, surprisingly enough, well, after Abigail was gone. Polly, there has to be different. If they have the ones that change into those abominations, they have to have ones that are more like us. Think of Gravedigger. Oh, you didn't meet Gravedigger. He lived with them. I'm sorry I snapped at you. I'm gonna take DT to the things that we're running out of. Do you prefer her, they? What do you like to be called?
Her is fine.
I'm gonna let her see them and see if she's seen any of the things that we need more of out there. You're welcome to come with.
No, have fun with your new project.
It's not like that, Polly. It really isn't.
I'm not gonna convince you, so have fun.
Polly, do you leave?
Mm-hmm.
You're walking through Pine Haven, and you're not really noticing anything. I think you're angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not really seeing what's around you. You bump into someone. Oh, whoa there. You seem real upset. What's happening? It's Declan. He looks at you.
It's nothing, just apparently all the rules are changing and a few people just decide on that and it's fine.
Is this Achira again?
So what if it is?
Hey, look, I'm not here to judge. I understand you two were pretty thick as thieves. But it's clear what's happening around here. I mean, Faith and Achira, they're even thicker. And they make a lot of the choices, and while we all vote and we all talk over and over about what we're gonna do, sometimes the right answer is right in front of us, and I feel like not all of us have equal voices.
Yeah, well, try telling them that.
Oh, I have. Over and over. You, doing anything right now? I could use an extra set of hands. We're doing this research that Faith has put us on, and we've got a lot of books to push around. I know I could use somebody with some smarts about the regions. Somebody who knows where these areas are so that I can try to track down geographical information that might lead us to some more information.
I mean, I can't read the titles, if that's okay.
Yeah, I can read for you. And if you're interested, I can teach you down the road. I mean, you don't really need it. Everything that was in this world is useless now. But...
No, I like it.
Okay. Come on, kid. Let's get something to eat and get to work.
Okay.
The two of you walk, and Arlo joins in, lumbering behind both of you. You disappear into the rat's nest that the techies have called their own home. The remains of what used to be a radio shack. Inside, there are so many shelves that have been filled with scavenged material, not only from here, because there wasn't much, but from the adjoining areas. You don't understand what much of it is, but it's always pretty impressive. And they've managed to keep the lights on here and do some pretty impressive things. You had your first hot shower ever. It was magic. You continue helping. Meanwhile, what do the two of you do?
So you said something about a jacket.
Yes, I need a new jacket.
Okay. Let me show you what we are running the most out of. And if you've seen anything like this, you could tell us where to go for it.
Deal.
I'm gonna take her to, I want to show her what diesel fuel looks like and smells like.
Mm-hmm. So you take her to the generator room. It's a loud machine, cars that have been linked together. They rumble and roar. You've seen these rusted things before, but you didn't know that they made noise like this. How do you react to it?
Just like covering your ears. What is that? What is the noise? Make it stop. Make it stop.
We can't make it stop.
It's too loud.
If you want to, how about you stand outside? I'll bring it to you. Okay?
Okay.
Stand back outside.
What is this? What are you doing?
This is how we make power. If you've ever watched the tapes, if you've ever watched the tapes on a TV set, this is how we make those turn on.
The pictures.
The pictures.
They're like the pictures?
Yes, those. This is how we make that work. You've probably seen this before, but not as big and as noisy as this. You've seen small things, probably a small box that you pull a cord on to make the pictures happen. Well, we have too many people here to only use one of those small boxes. We have to use this. But the stuff that we put in it, we're running out of it.
And you want me to find that?
I want to see if you've already seen it already. If you've seen some of this stuff that we need for in this, then that will get you, where that is, will get you whatever you want in the store.
I have to think. I try not to go near the noises. Sugar doesn't like it either. And there's too many that want her. And usually there's people there too.
Too many that want her?
Others like her. She's gonna leave me. She sees them.
All Romeros?
Yes.
Like others that walk like her. Okay. Here, you stay outside. I'll just bring you a rag with some of it on it so you know what it smells like. It doesn't smell good. I'll tell you that now. I'm gonna
You take a can and you pour out some of the biodiesel into the rag. This is homemade biodiesel. It's rancid, it's strong, pungent, it makes your eyes water. It reminds you in some ways of French fries. And it hurts, even though it's been over 20 years since you've had one. You still remember what McDonald's fries were like. You bring the rag out, and immediately when you smell it, you recognize something. I'd like for you to make a search check for me.
All right.
And we're going to see if you've come across any biodiesel in your recent travels, not knowing what it was.
Let's see, 35.
It's a very good roll.
Yeah, and it's 52.
So that's under. You actually have 2 degrees of success on this. However, you also have competency points. And you could spin those to have even greater success if you so choose. But using your competency points means you will not have them later. Would you like to use some more?
I'll save them for now.
Okay. So with 2 degrees of success, you do recognize them. You can't remember where, but you do remember cans. Big metal cans, as big as you, that smelled just like that.
I know this smell. Yeah. I remember it. I got a really good snack for Sugar there.
Okay.
I can't remember where it was. I know it was in a shop.
Was there a lot of it?
There were about 2 cans, maybe. The store just smelled like it. We didn't stay there long. We just passed through. But it's not too far from here.
Could you take me and some people back there to see where it is? Would you be able, will you and Sugar be able to show us?
maybe if we travel in that direction. But I know there's some other people that we were hiding from over there too. I don't know if they're still there.
There's always dangerous people out there.
Your radio buzzes to life. You hear a voice. It's Arlo.
What?
I just thought you, I'm sorry, I just thought that maybe you would want to know your scout group, they went back out, and they're not back. I mean, it's been over an hour, and they were just supposed to kind of shore up the wall to make sure that you didn't miss anything when you were out, and I don't know. I mean, do with that what you will. Arlo, over and out.
Okay. I'm short with him because one time, you know, this electricity, he electrocuted me with it.
So you people aren't to trust.
He's not one to be trusted. I don't trust his skills. Him and Declan.
What do you do, Faith? What are you doing while they're off walking through the mall?
I've sort of returned to my office to go over the plans for the day. I figure that it's still the morning right now. Is that correct, or afternoon?
No, it's night.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're edging into the late evening. People are starting to go on to shifts. There's always someone awake, but people do rotate in shifts. Some work the mornings and the afternoons, and some work late into the night.
What I'd like to do, this whole year, I've had that tape that that Betamax gave me.
Mm-hmm.
That was found on his body later in the stadium. I assume I've watched this many times before.
You have.
I would like to watch it again.
You take the tape. You hold it in front of the machine. You push it in. Nothing happens. All of the lights go out.
Not again.
We're going to be back in just a few minutes. The apocalypse is not a safe place. It's dangerous, and it's full of terrors that move in the darkness. What everyone thinks they understand and know about what these walking corpses have done has been shaken. Achira is starting to question things. Faith has found a position of leadership. Polly may have begun a journey down a different path. But a strange new outsider has opened the door to even more questions. Questions that lead back to a very dark place. You've stepped out of the generator room. But as you do, you hear a rumble. And everything behind you stops. Both of you are close by each other, but it's pitch black. Torches off in the distance begin sparking. Campfires that were already lit begin producing lights. Candles and lanterns are brought into the areas around. However, the corridor that the two of you are standing in has not been lit yet. I'd like for you both to make spot listen checks. In Outbreak Undead, you roll percentile dice. You then compare it to the skill on your character sheet. The difference between those two produce either degrees of success or degrees of failure. How did you do?
I got a 90.
And what is your skill?
49.
So you have 5 degrees of failure.
Is this a location hazard?
This is not yet a location hazard.
Okay.
Some players have abilities that allow them to change things. They gain additional competency points when a particular situation merits it. One of those is a location hazard. Achira has this ability, but unfortunately is not currently in the midst of a location hazard. But just because something is other than a location hazard doesn't mean that it's not dangerous. So, it's dark.
I'm going to use 2 of my competency points to knock that to 3 degrees of failure.
That does prevent it from being a catastrophic failure, which means you might have heard something that would have led you astray, that would have been confusing to you, that might have made it difficult for you to gain your bearings. With only 3 degrees of failure on this roll, it just means that you're in the dark, and it's taking you a moment to acclimate yourself to this darkness. How did you do?
I got an 87,
And what is your skill level?
49.
So you have also failed. That is 4 degrees of failure. Would you like to spend competency points to correct that?
Yeah. I'll spend 2 as well.
You spend 2. So you now are only at 2 degrees of failure, which means that you are in the dark and you can hear things in the distance, but you're not sure exactly what's going on around you as your eyes begin to acclimate to the darkness. You're used to the dark, but you've been inside of these walls long enough that your eyes began to adjust, and now that you've been plummeted back into that darkness, you feel a little lost. Everything is quiet. There's a shambling sound from behind you, the shake and the shudder of machinery. The radio begins buzzing again, and you hear Arlo's voice cursing wildly, other individuals' voices talking back and forth. What the hell is going on? Can somebody fix this? Not again.
Achira goes on the walkie. Where did it start from? Anyone?
The radio doesn't respond. The crackle and the pop only comes back.
Achira turns it off.
What is this? Is this a setup?
It is not, because I'm here with you.
Why'd the lights turn off?
Because the power went off. The thing that I showed you earlier, that fuel is what we call it, we need that to run it. Either we ran out, or this is something else.
What if it's something else? You guys are in walls. That's dangerous. There's nowhere to run.
One of my scouting parties is outside the walls. I feel like we should head over there. Will you follow me?
I guess I don't have anywhere else to go. Is Sugar gonna be safe here?
Bebe and TV are standing guard over her. She'll be fine.
Fine, then let's go find those other people.
Do you have a weapon?
I have my pickaxe. I can take that with me.
Okay. And Chira's gonna hold out an arm for you to hold on to it. And since she has been down these tunnels before, she's gonna blindly try to find her way out.
From a lit lantern somewhere at the top of the Pine Haven Shopping Center, there is a signal, one that you recognize. It was created by you and some of the other leadership here. When radios go dead and power dies, there are a number of safety protocols to ensure that it wasn't intentional. Sabotage is very real. People oftentimes make bad choices. They decide that for better or worse, they might be able to leave with some of the goods that you have, the resources that you've collected. And while most of the people here have been here long enough to have built up trust, there are enough new faces for you to be uncertain. So your signal faith is in place. All clear.
I leave my area and I see this signal at the top. I grab the walkie. We're all clear. Not sure what caused it, but shouldn't be dangerous. Not again. Why are the comms down? I'm gonna try to make my way towards what I know to be the tech room, the Radio Shack.
You start to walk out of your office. I'd like for you to make a spot listen check.
It's 41 over 43. I just made it? Is that 1 degree still? Yeah!
So you have effectively made it.
Wow.
That is 1 degree of success. Would you like to change that?
Oof.
You do still have competency and you can improve that roll.
I'll add 1 just to make it 2 so I don't die.
With 2 degrees of competency, or success on that, I can say that you start to move forward and the hairs on the back of your neck begin raising. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything in the darkness. But you are combat trained. You've lived a life as a warrior. You've been trained by the Citadel. Rowan taught you well. And you've got a gut feeling. Faith, you're not alone.
I reach for... Well, I guess I reach for my knife in my boot. Gun's no good when you can't see.
You start to reach down.
I don't want to see it.
You grab the knife. You remove it from the sheath. Do you stand back up straight?
When you say it like that.
Those small decisions.
Well, I was going to, so I guess I do that. I stand up.
You begin standing up. And you feel a hand on your shoulder.
I grab the hand by the wrist. And I try to pull the person over me.
Very well. What would you like to roll to make that happen? What skill would you use?
I'll choose brawl.
Make a brawl check then. That's very
14.
good.
Yes, okay. 2 degrees of success.
2 degrees of success. You do grab onto the hand. You do pull the figure forward. However, you feel resistance. And instead of flipping them over your shoulder, you fling them in front of you. They're not completely lifted off the ground. However, you did succeed in pulling them in front of you. It's dark, but you can see a white, featureless mask.
Does it look like the shepherd's masks?
It looks similar to the masks that you've seen the shepherds wear. The ones known as the Silent Sentinels, the highly trained, dangerous assassins that the shepherds have sent out. Yes, it looks very much like that.
I'd like to try to get them in some sort of chokehold to make them not be able to attack again.
Okay, make another brawl check for me.
See how good this goes. Let's see what that is. It's a 61.
That is a failure.
Yes.
You've failed by 1 degree, I believe.
Yes.
So, would you like to spend some competency to correct that?
These are my last 2, everybody in the internet.
You do have some group competency
Oh,
that you
okay.
can draw from.
I'll use my personal for now and then run that well dry.
You're going to use the last of your 2 competency, and in doing so, you are able to stop yourself from being picked up off the ground. You plant your feet, you find your center of gravity, and you have the intention. What would you like to do?
I want to strain him, get him in a chokehold from behind him, and pull against his neck. Or sorry, their neck.
Very well. I'd like for you to start by rolling 2 blue die, which are going to be your speed dice. I'd like for you to also roll your attack, so whatever percentile dice you're going to need. And then I'd like for you to roll an additional black die, which is a die of difficulty. We're going to add that to the roll. It's going to subtract, or I'm sorry, it's going to add to your roll, making it all the more difficult for you to do that.
Okay.
All right, so roll them all at once and let's see how you do. It's 11
Yes.
and 2, so it's only a 13. Now, those dice can explode. They're technically D5s. And whenever you roll a 6, you roll that die again. And if you keep rolling 6s, things become very deadly. However, you've rolled a 2, and you've rolled very low. And your speed dice are currently only a 4, which is very quick. You are faster than the Silent Sentinel, or the individual that seems to be a Silent Sentinel.
Okay. If I can get them basically down and unable to move, I want to pull off their mask.
All right. You are going to attempt to pull. I'm not going to have you roll for this.
Okay.
So I think you reach down and you grab the mask as they kick you back and throw something at you. So would you like to roll off with me to see if you're able to evade this dagger?
Yeah, okay, yes.
This sharpened
Amazing.
steel knife.
Yikes, okay,
flies
that's...
out.
Well, this is 37.
Yeah.
It's a dodge, so that's 1 degree of success.
You manage to just barely move to the side as this Bowie knife-sized dagger flies past your head and sticks into the wall behind you. It rattles in place, and you feel a small touch of blood across your cheek. It was close. The figure raises their head up. You've got the mask in their hand, but it's too dark to see. What would you like to do?
Who are you? What do you want? This is not going to end well for you.
It ain't gonna end well for you.
Do I recognize that voice at all?
You do not.
Okay.
And you've never known a Silent Sentinel to talk before.
Shoot. And there's no light here, so... I want to go at him with my knife now.
You do also have a lantern on your desk. You could try to light it, but in the middle of this fight, even though both of you are stumbling around in the dark, it might be a bad choice.
I'm going to try to roll towards the door and close it to trap us both in here.
So be it.
This is fun. What is that going to be now?
You are out of competency points unless you wish to use the group pool.
What's in the group pool?
There are actually 16 competency points that are available.
Coach.
That's incredible.
go.
Huge hat.
So I'm going to look this, to
you.
see the end of this closing of the door that I have to roll for, apparently. All right, I'm going to...
While we appreciate our friends in the beyond, they do go so quickly. And I'm not done yet.
Okay, all right. Can I change my thing, actually?
You may change your intention. So in Outbreak, there are a number of rounds. The first thing I ask most of the time when we're in a situation like this is, what is your intention? Mm-hmm. We then build your dice pool, you roll your dice pool, and then we do resolution, which means that we can alter things.
Right.
So let's see how you do.
My intention is to turn the damn light on, because this is becoming this whole thing.
Okay, so you're going to make it to the lantern, and you're going to try to spark it with a lighter and ignite it.
How
All right.
about what would this roll be exactly? Would this be a dodge to dodge?
Yeah, let's call
not
this.
sure which.
Let's call this a dodge. I don't think anything else makes sense. I could make you make it a different roll, but
I
it
will
just
need
fits
that
it.
competency. That was a 61 over a 40.
So you have 2 degrees of, we'll call it 2 degrees of failure.
Yeah.
How many would you like to spend?
I'll take 3 from the group pool if that's cool.
That gives you 1 degree of success
All right.
and 13 points remaining.
Okay. So I go to light the lantern and then identify the person who is here.
The lantern does light, however, you aren't alone here, meaning that I get to take an intention as well. You feel a fist.
Should I roll speed?
You're lighting the lantern,
Right.
and as you begin to see the spark of fire, your eyes adjust and you see this figure coming towards you. You see a heavily tattooed face, pierced, very much alive, broken teeth, rough-hewn features, and angry, bloodshot eyes. This figure, this brute, is heavily muscled, and in your hand is the mask of a Silent Sentinel. And this individual, in every other way, is wearing the black garb of a missionary of the group known as the Shepherds. The fist flies towards you. You can roll a dodge to see if you're able to move out of the striking range of this attack. However, there may be consequences as you move in the space.
I would like to, on purpose, take this punch, but have my knife, like, by my chest to stab up as he's going into me.
Clever.
What role is this, though? I don't know.
You're going to take the punch, and you're going to earn priority in our next round.
Okay.
So, that's an exploding die, my friend.
Is that good or bad?
What is your damage
I
threshold?
can't remember. Oh, God. It is 8.
So, you take 4 points that are going to have to be removed here. So we are pushing these through. You have a 5, a 4, and a 2. So you can get rid of the 2 and the 6, but 5 are going to go through still.
Okay.
And that gets you closer to being harmed. You do feel blood, and your mouth immediately begins to swell as this punch lands on your cheek and your jaw. You whip your head to one side. This individual means business, and that dagger, that Bowie knife that's in the wall, you watch as he grabs a hold of it. What do you do?
I take the knife that I had in my hand and I stab up.
Okay.
I'm going to try to go for... Well, let's see, what's around there? I don't know, just anywhere is cool, I guess, depending on my damage. I'm going to try to stab him in the stomach.
Okay, make your roll. That is not very good, my friend.
This is a 94 over, I guess it would be / over 59.
So we're going to call that 4 degrees of failure,
Okay.
which is almost completely catastrophic, but it is not good. What would you like to do?
It's not great. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking all the competency from the group already.
Okay, so
I think, well, there's only 13. What time is it? I don't...
time is not going to
It's
save
important.
you.
I know, I just mean, like, I don't want to, if we're going to need
I
it.
will extend this story by 1 hour.
Thank you, chat. I'm going to just use 5 competency. Sorry, everybody. I gotta live to see another day.
You have 8 remaining.
Yeah.
So you do so. You have 1 degree of success, which means that you do stab upward and you do cut the individual, but he moves back far too quickly.
Okay.
Meaning that immediately there is a gush of blood that rushes across your hand. The figure.
I'm gonna try to grapple him again. This is probably the last time I'm gonna do this, I think, everybody. Because I want to keep him in with questioning. I don't want him to escape.
Okay. So you're going to try to grab a hold of this individual, this attacker, and hold them in place. However, your attacker has other ideas and is holding a very large knife.
Right.
Just die already. As the knife comes towards you. You will also roll your speed dice. You're going to roll 2 of them. Again, there is now light, so you don't need to add the black die.
Okay.
You're no longer in the darkness. So it'll be a straight roll. Let's see how we do.
It's the 5, 35.
Well, the good news is that you are operating first in our intention round. So you will be attacking before him. What is your attack?
Actually, I'll say that it's grapple. The numbers are the same.
You're holding. So you grab onto the individual, but you only have a single degree of success, correct?
Right. Yes.
I'm going to change the attacker's intention then. You grab onto them, pulling at them, trying to hold them back, and I will instead change this into a dodge.
Okay.
The character, the figure, breaks free of you. Rotten breath and broken teeth close to you. You see their bloodshot eyes. They roll back. What do you do?
Oh, fuck this. I attempt to leave the office and close the door behind me.
You start moving towards the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need you to make a dodge. One more time.
It's an 80, everybody. That's over 43. So that is technically still 4 degrees of
think you got 3.
That's 3 degrees.
Because it's like 3 over. Okay, 3 degrees of failure.
Do you wish to allow that 3 degrees of failure to ride, Faith? Or would you like to use more of the competency that has been gathered for you and your companions?
I'm just gonna take it. What's the worst that can happen? I'm fine.
You hear a gunshot. Die already! It rings out. You feel the familiar hot burn. Faith, you've been shot. You take a 5, a 4, a 4, and a 2.
5, 4, and 2. Okay, so then
And you have a damage threshold.
of 8.
Mm.
So I'll take the 4.
Remember, though,
What?
you were holding on to a 5 before.
Oh, I see what you're saying here. This is not great, actually.
I'm going to allow you to distribute this wound. This is now an injury. We have no doubt of it. You've been shot from behind. You reach for the door and you fall. Everyone else within Pine Haven hears the crack of a gunshot. What are all of your intentions?
How close is the office to the Radio Shack area?
That's a good question. You are below and just a few storefronts away. Each of the storefronts has been repurposed into other things, but there are remaining bits of signs here and there. I'm going to allow you to make a spot listen to see if you can determine where the gunshot came from.
Okay. 48, so that is 1 degree of failure. I'm going to use 2 competency points to turn that into a success of my own.
Very well. With 1 degree of success, you think it came from above you. Not too far away, but you can't quite pinpoint it. If you'd like to spend some competency points, of course, I can help you direct that.
Knox. Fuck it, I'll use 1 more. 2 degrees of success.
Is that your own personal, or is that one of the communal pool?
I'll dip into my personal still.
How many competency do you have remaining?
3 remaining.
So with the 2, you do believe, though you're not certain, that it came from Faith's office.
And it's dark here as well.
In fact, there are battery-operated lights that have been turned on here. The techies are usually prepared for this sort of thing. And as they make most of this, they're the first to use it. There are small battery-operated lights. It's light here. In the hallways, though, it's very dark. There are fires, and individuals from the community are bringing torches up to light other fires so that everyone might be able to see. The signal that Arlo is making outside of this shop is a series of flashes from a lantern. You know what they mean. It's a signal that Faith set up. It means all clear. But that signal stops as soon as the gunshot fires.
Yeah, Polly looks to Declan and says, "That's trouble," and just runs out the door, picking up her weapon on the way out.
You grab your weapon. Hold on. I'm gonna come with you. And let's take this easy. Don't just rush in. Declan grabs a sniper rifle, slings it over his shoulder, grabs a machete. It's an old Citadel sword. It's well made, black steel. Arlo, keep an eye out. Don't let anyone in here. We can't have people rummaging through our things. Yeah, you got that, boss. I'll do that. Lead the way.
Okay. And makes her way up towards Faith's office.
You start moving up. You two. The gunshot is much further away for you, but I will allow you to make spot listen checks if you'd like to be able to pinpoint where it came from.
Could I, as someone who's dealt with, as soon as hearing the gunshot, the first thing Achira thinks is Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
And just from her past knowledge with Citadel, she would think that they would go after leadership first. But she would also know that if Riggs was here, he wouldn't have anything happen to Faith.
So for you, then, it comes down to a couple of other options. There's an individual named Beckham, who's an older individual, a man who has entered into this encampment and is fairly skilled as a farmer from the breadbasket region, has actually helped make this place viable. The small amount of food that you're able to produce reliably has been thanks to him. And because of that, he has a place of leadership here. Declan also has a place of leadership here due to the technological advances that he and his crew are able to bring. There is another feral child of the apocalypse, older than most of the others, named Sweetums. They do pretty well with the others. You trust them, but they've gotten very comfortable with what this place has been able to offer. Pine Haven has created a place of luxury in some ways for many of the lost ones that you've brought in. There is a collective that has become a little more removed from your leadership. And then there's you. Given those options, you can either try to pinpoint where the sounds are coming from, which will be difficult given your distance, or you can make some educated guesses.
If it's Citadel, and Achira's just talking out loud, if it's Citadel, if it's Riggs, there would have been more than one gunshot. It would have struck all of them at the same time, including me.
These people, they're bad?
Citadel? Yeah. They're bad.
Are we going to go help?
We are going to go help. I just need to know where to go.
I guess I'm in your hands. I don't know what to do. It's dark. There's shots. What do we do?
We need to find Polly and Faith.
Where do you think they'd be?
Well, I know where Polly should be. Doesn't mean that they're there. Faith is probably in the thick of it somewhere, unless this happened suddenly and she was in her office. Let's head towards there.
Okay, I'll trust you. I guess I have to now.
You start moving. You see others. People are being careful. They're holding weapons. There are firearms here, but as you well know, ammunition is becoming very difficult to come by. It's mostly for show. You know, most of these shotguns and rifles that have been as well maintained as possible are useless. There are bows and arrows and other implements and weapons that have been gathered, but you can't help but feel, Achira, that your community is in a bad position here. You've done your best, and the walls are your greatest asset. The idea that something might be inside of them without anyone knowing, that's very troubling.
I don't like that the scouting party didn't check in. They know better than that. We'll regroup with Faith and Polly, and then we'll get to that wall.
Okay. What should we do first? Should we check around, though? It's dark. There could be anything out there.
Yeah, but we're used to that, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you who to hit.
Okay.
Let's go.
I want you both to make spot listen checks, and I'd like for you to add 2 blue die so that we can determine your initiative order, and 1 black die due to the darkness that you're working in. Add that single black die to your roll, And if you roll a 6, I want you to roll it again.
Let's see. Oh no.
What is your spot listen skill?
Mine's 59 out of 49.
And you've rolled a 59
Yeah.
plus the 4.
Yeah, plus the floor 4.
It's 2 degrees of failure. You have a 49. Oh, in the skill you have a 49, correct?
Yeah.
And you've rolled a 59, which means that you now have a 63. We'll call that a single degree of failure.
Do I still have competency points?
I believe that you've used them.
Yeah, okay. But this is just a check to listen around us, right?
There doesn't seem to be any immediate harm to failing this.
I guess I'll be a little risky and just keep the one failure.
With one failure, you don't notice anything. Nothing else happens for you. Achira, how did you do?
I got, because of 2 on the difficulty dice, I got a total of 58. My spot listen is 49. My speed is 5. It's very dark.
It is very dark.
There are a number of people running around. We would expect for all of them to be friends, but that's not necessarily true.
This is your home. This is not a location hazard.
Okay.
There's 8 in the pool still.
I've got 4 left, so I'm
There are, in fact, 10 in the pool.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
There has been generosity.
Thank you. Okay, so since that's 1 degree of failure, I am going to use 4 out of the community pool, which will leave the community pool at 6, to make this a 3 degrees of success.
With 3 degrees of success, you are able to pinpoint where the sound came from. In fact, there's a lot of commotion heading towards Faith's office. But more importantly, with 3 degrees of success, you see someone standing around the corner. Just a glimpse of what looks to be a shoulder. Someone leaning very, very closely to the wall, right next to the generator room.
Pit stop. Do you know what sabotage is?
No, I never heard that.
How about an a-hole that needs to die?
That I know of, yes.
There.
I'm spending 150 risk. Risk in Outbreak Undead is a resource that, as the Game Master, I can use to make a situation more dangerous. I have also been given gifts from
no.
the beyond.
What have you done?
What?
Wow, that's a lot of risk to drop at once. Achira's weapons are long gun, a compound bow, and this slashing hatchet that she has rigged herself. Would her long gun have any bullets in it?
You have a very limited amount of ammunition. I'm going to have you roll 2 depletion die.
Okay.
You may attack with it, but know that using it is risky. And once you're out of ammunition, there may not be any more in the armament for you to replenish with.
Then I am going to save that for a rainier day. Achira's going to use her compound bow to shoot this person next to the generator room.
Very well, you may roll. Let's see how you do. You take your compound bow and silently pull back the string, preparing yourself to shoot the figure that you see there at the edge of the corner, so close to the generator room. The arrow flies.
I got a 99.
That is a catastrophic failure, I am sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do about that? You can say, I miss.
I'm just gonna have that be a big ol' miss. Not only is it a big miss, but it gets the attention of the person, so no longer have the element of surprise.
There's a very loud twang in your bowstring as the arrow is released, and a large clatter as it hits the wall a good 10 feet away from your target.
I have gotten rusty.
The figure turns and steps out towards you. It's dark. What would you like to do?
Since the figure is stepping out, I think since my weapon's a bit longer, I could take just a swing, a slash at the person, try to hit them.
Yes, you do have some reach. You will have to step forward, though.
Okay.
But in doing so, you can go ahead and make your attack. You can use either a slash or a pierce, depending on how you would like to use this weapon. It does both.
Let's go with slash.
Very well.
Oh, sorry.
So that you know, piercing is often useful when fighting the dead because you're able to immobilize them more quickly. Slash is better against living targets, but each has their merits. How did you do there?
I got 27, and the total is, 60.
All right. You have succeeded. In fact, you've succeeded very well. You step forward and you slash forward, cutting across the figure's chest. Their coat shreds. It's a long, draping trench coat. In the darkness, Achira, something starts to dawn on you. This is Tramper, one of your people.
Oh.
The coat is slashed. The figure stands there. And as they step forward into the bare light of those fires that are a distance away, you see the outline of Tramper's face, freshly dead. Red dripping down the white of their shirt, wet and sticky. Their throat has been slit. And they're now a Romero.
Were they part of the scouting party that went out?
They were. Tramper reaches out and tries to grab you. Would you like to try to dodge?
Yeah, I'll try to dodge it.
You may do so, but I'd like for you to roll 2 blue speed die.
Okay. It's 5, 6, 7 for the blue, and then 37. Dodge is at 51.
Tramper grabs at you. Your coat, however, is all that he gets a hold of, and you're able to slip back, leaving your coat behind.
No, it's my favorite coat.
Achira.
I'm gonna use my hatchet to take Tramper out.
Make an attack. Are you trying to pierce?
I always do slashing.
Very well.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so because I get a 3 in slashing, that adds on to my percentage that I have. So I forget how much it is for each one, but I rolled a 19. So, but it's like without my modifier, my slash is 50. So that should be a epic success.
You cut through the skull of Tramper, with a loud crack. Gray matter pours forth from his face as gore sprays across you. You did attack with an axe, correct?
Yeah, slashing with hatchet.
But you were going for the head, correct?
Yeah, I guess I guess I would think that Achira would know, with all of her experience with the dead, that she wouldn't put herself in a splatter zone type of a situation.
I think that that's fair. I think that you are fighting in close combat. I'm going to give you a dodge, and I'm going to allow you to use that to completely avoid it. This spray, I think it's easy to say that Achira moved their face out of the way, and it was really just about getting onto your clothing. But I don't think that you could be this close to someone with a hatchet and truly predict where that spray is going to come from once you hit their head. This individual is freshly dead, and unlike many of the dead that you fought, they still have blood and viscera within their veins. It is slightly different.
Okay. I understand.
Would you like to make a dodge?
Would it be possible, instead of in the head, I just cut the rest of the head off since it's already slashed?
I'll allow it. Yeah, and you get covered in some gore, but it doesn't strike any of your exposed skin or your face. Is that fair?
Very.
Okay. You are close, though, and Trapper is a gory mess. Perhaps it's been a while since you fought anyone freshly dead. Drops to his knees, head rolls across the floor to your feet, and he is now jawing at you as his head still lives. His body twitches.
Trapper was part of a scouting party. They were supposed to be on the wall, and they were the ones that were supposed to call in. If they're dead, if someone got to Tramper, they're really, really good. Tramper is one of the best.
A radio crackles. It's on Tramper. There's a red flashing light.
What's that
Run.
mean?
I'm gonna grab DT and start running towards Faith's office.
If you give me 5 competency points, I won't make you roll.
That's steep prices.
Yeah.
Knox, that's steep prices.
There are 2 of you. I think I'm being generous.
Otherwise, we both have to roll dodges here?
Yes. You did quickly decide that you were going to leave, so I feel like this is fair. If you had questioned or lingered at all, this would be a much different conversation.
Yeah. Oh, man, this sucks. How many competency points do we have left in the pool?
10.
You had 10, you have 6.
Oh.
I think we've been rolling pretty... Oh, hey.
Oh my god.
It is still not a location hazard by definition. A location hazard doesn't become defined by a dangerous situation. It becomes defined by a specific environmental danger. Walking across a field of broken glass trying to be quiet might be a location hazard. Walking through a field of zombies that have been corralled into a particular area. Moving across a rope bridge that has been sabotaged. These are location hazards. Your home, outside of this generator room.
Trying to dodge a possible explosion.
I'm sorry, my friend.
Okay.
I cannot help you.
Okay, I have 4 competency points, and we have 6 in the pool. How about... No, I don't want to. Do you think we could roll this?
We can let luck decide, I guess.
Oh, all right.
Are you going to spend them?
I'm going to use 3 of my own, busting me down to 1 competency point, and 2 from the group pool to do the 5 competency points so we don't roll for this dodge.
Very well.
It was 150 risk that.
That is true.
I will tell you, there are 20 more points that have been added to the competency pool.
What?
What?
Whoa.
20?
Holy shit! I would have taken them all out of that.
It's okay. We can still use it.
Oh, I apologize. That is a mistake on my end. I am being communicated with in totals, and you have already spent them. There is an additional competency point that has been added.
Okay.
Well then,
there's
can I
5
use
left.
one less of mine?
You may, and immediately
So
use that
I'll
one
have
if you
2
like.
left, and the pool will have 4 left.
Yeah.
Okay.
You grab on to DT's sleeve and pull her forward. Both of you lunge as the heat of an explosion billows out behind you. You hit the ground. You're scraped, bruised, and battered, but no lasting damage has been done. The generator room, however, half of it is gone.
No.
And you see the gnarled machinery and the flames that lick across the concrete around you. You're not getting power back tonight. Polly.
Yeah.
You and Declan are rushing up the stairs. You come to Faith's door. It's been closed. This entire area has been fortified. Faith is no fool. Her personal office is her sanctuary. There are no windows. There are plenty of weapons inside, plenty of ways that she can protect herself. Some even say that she has a panic room, a place to escape to in the back. No one's seen it. You don't ask about it. But the door is closed.
Polly, despite having spent a year inside in some semblance of what she has come to learn as civilization, still doesn't really have a regard for authority in situations of peril. So seeing that closed door does not put a lot of barriers to her. She will try the door, and if it's locked, she will slam it with her weapon.
You try the door, and immediately you feel Declan shove you down to the ground. A gunshot cracks, and Declan stumbles forward. You see blood dripping from his shoulder.
Fuck.
Stay down.
Sorry,
No, they've got eyes. Someone's got a sniper rifle. Fuck, hold on. And Declan pushes towards the concrete wall across from you and pulls his rifle out and starts to try and scope across. But in the darkness, you can see that he's having trouble. We've got to put these lights out, pointing to the 2 fires on either side that are clearly illuminating this portion of the mall. We're
Polly
sitting ducks. What do we do?
looks towards the door for 1 second, and then says, I got it, and starts running towards one of the fires. How far away are they actually?
They're about 50 feet away from you on either side.
Yeah, keeping low. And keeping, Polly's weapon is the L from the Marquis of Clare's ripped off of the wall and just jammed and lashed onto a piece of metal from a bench in the mall. Holds that kind of beside her as she runs to try to give herself a little bit of cover.
You start to run. I'd like for you to make a stealth roll.
Sure thing. That's a 2.
That is an exceptional roll.
Yep.
How many degrees of success is that?
That is, I have a 46, so that's
4 degrees of success,
Yeah.
yes. Would you like to spend competency to make it 5?
I'm okay.
Why stop now?
You're not gonna tempt me this time.
It's 8:42.
Don't let
Play
that.
my
Don't fall for it.
No, I'm gonna stay with the 4 degrees. I feel good about that, and I know that I don't have the best luck with rolling, so I'm gonna take it.
You rush forward and you are able to do so unseen. You stick to the shadows. You're very good at this. Not only have you been well trained this past year, but you've lived in this wilderness. You've lost a lot of friends, people that you care about. But you know how to get this sort of thing done. And you move over to the first of the fire pots. What do?
Oh my God. Polly takes off her jacket and slams it onto the fire to quench it.
You ruin your jacket as you quench the fire. You hear a gunshot again, but this time it comes from Declan. Declan has re-aimed his weapon at the other fire pot, and it topples over the side. You're now in the darkness. Faith, inside, you hear more gunshots from outside. You hear commotion. Your people are aware of what's happening now. There has been an alert bell. Someone is ringing one. But what stops you is the explosion. You even feel the concrete shake slightly. This isn't good, and you're on the ground, bleeding, a gunshot in your shoulder. You hear the boots of this fake silent sentinel walking towards you, and you hear the hammer of a gun pull back. What do?
I attempt to shoot first and reach into my holster for my pistol.
Faith, I want to express to you the importance of this roll before you make it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
If you do not gain priority, if you do not beat this roll, you will be shot again. And most likely, given your position, it will be fatal.
Okay. Not much else I can do. Is it 1 or 2 speed dice?
2 speed dice, however, and I'm sorry for this, you have already received a gunshot and you have an injury. I need you to add a black die to that. And remember, if you roll a 6, it explodes.
Remind me.
Yes.
Everyone would be cool for 3 seconds. Remind me, I have a 2 for a pistol here. I add, what do I multiply by 2 exactly?
You multiply it by 2, so you're going to get to...
Plus 4.
Yeah.
Or minus 4?
No, it's not minus, or you're going to take 4 away.
4 away, right, yeah. Okay. And because I have a pistol, I take away 1 speed die.
Yeah.
Yay. Oh my god. Okay.
You have priority with a 3.
Yes.
What was your intention? To turn and fire?
To shoot him first.
And you rolled a
35.
36.
Yeah, 35.
With the black speed die of a 1, you will add that to it.
Oh, right, 36, right.
So, where does that put you?
My pistol is a 49.
You fire and shoot your target behind you. You roll across the floor and you feel and see the muzzle flash in front of you. Roll these 3 dice. for me.
Okay. All right.
These are the damage dice.
Ooh, hello. 2, 1, 2.
How many degrees of success did you have?
That was what did I say,
36?
So, that was 1 degree of success.
Would you like to spend competency to make it more than 1 degree of success?
Yep.
How many would you like to spend?
Sorry guys, I'm taking 2. I don't want to die today.
With 3 degrees of success, you not only hit, you're going to do an additional die of damage.
3.
The figure stumbles and drops back against the wall, gurgling. You can't see their face, but they're not moving. They're leaning against your desk.
Incredible. I am too injured to proceed with this. I try to open the door to escape.
You pull yourself up. You unlock the door, you open it.
I'm just gonna crawl.
Polly.
Oh, okay.
Are you crawling?
I'm crawling.
You see Faith crawling as another gunshot rings out as soon as the door opens. Had she been standing, her head would have parted from her body. But the bullet, instead, enters into the back of the dark room. Faith, trailing blood behind her, crawls out. Declan looks to you. Grab her, kid. I got this.
Yeah. And runs forward and picks up Faith.
You're running forward.
I think that Polly has a little bit of hesitancy now that she has seen Declan get shot by her hastiness, and so will take the first few steps quickly, and then approaching the room where she got shot at near will slow down and be a little more cautious.
Okay. What role do you think that would be?
I think if something is coming at me, I want to be fair and say it would probably be a dodge, which is lower than my stealth.
Go ahead and make a dodge roll for me then. I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, listen,
You've always got competency points to spend.
I'm here to play. And that's a 92.
Yeah.
How many degrees of failure is that?
That is 6 degrees of failure. I have 3 of my own, and there's 5 in the pool.
Yes, currently.
There's 2 left in the.
Oh,
Yeah, I
thank you
used
for that. I was incorrect. There are 2 remaining.
Well,
So you have 4 of your own and 2 remaining.
3 of my own. Yeah.
At least it can't go higher than 5 degrees of failure. There's
You do
that.
have 5 degrees of failure
I have
currently, though,
5
so you
degrees of
should
failure.
make a choice as to what you're going to do about it. Otherwise, you're about to fall flat on your face.
Absolutely, I am. I am going to spend 2 of my own and the 2 left in the pool to reduce that to 1 degree of failure.
You don't make it to her. You stop just as another shot explodes in front of you. Concrete chips fly up into your face, and you feel a nick as blood starts to tear down your cheek. Declan turns and fires. Everything's quiet. You finally make it to Faith. Faith, you see Polly over you. What do you do?
Thanks, kid. Let's get away from this clearly targeted zone.
Yeah.
This is a point of order. Do I have like a secret thing in my office I did not know about?
Do
Or-
you?
I don't. I mean.
You
that's
do
up
know
to
about
you.
it. Would you like to have a secret?
Yeah,
Panic
I mean,
room?
we were talking about this earlier.
It is a panic room. It doesn't have an exit. But it is a secure hidden room that you've had installed. Would you like to enter that instead of going forward into the rest of the mall?
Ooh, this is tricky, actually.
I can cover you for a little while if the 2 of you want to make a run for it. I think I might have hit our assassin.
All right.
Who did you piss off, Faith?
I don't know, fucking everyone. Same old, same old. All right. We should get together there, so let's be really cautious. Go slow if we need to, but we should head to get to the outside where everyone else is going. This inside here is not safe anymore.
As you try to stand, you stumble and fall back down.
Polly will put her arm around Faith and help her to her feet, look at Declan and say, "Stay safe."
Just take care of her. We'll deal with this later.
Okay.
Be safe too. Another fire, kind of as he's scanning across, trying to knock down other lights just in case they're being used to target other individuals that are running. You see other people rushing up, and individuals, bodyguards that you've trained, start to gather around all of you. You manage to make it downstairs. Where exactly are you headed?
We would head to, if there was like a side exit, like not the main, like whatever the clear entrance is, because that would be, covered or compromised. So if there was like a side exit to go out of, to see if we can get eyes on anyone entering the building, or to see like what's happening basically.
All right. You start to move. Meanwhile, you both pull yourselves up.
They used him. They used him like a walking bomb. Shepherds don't do that. Not any shepherds that I know. The dead's kind of sacred to them.
How long was your group out there?
Too long.
They had enough time to take hold of them, use them as plants?
Maybe. But if they were going after the generator room, then they'd probably go after other big targets. With Achira's knowledge of Pine Haven, is there anything else that they might try to use, like a Walking Dead bomb for?
The armory. And certainly your food stores.
So what do we do now? Where do we go?
I want to get to Faith and Polly, but I'm going to have to trust that they know as much as I do about this place. If they took out the generator, then they're going to take out our food, and they're going to take out our ammunition. Food we can get more of or grow. Ammunition is more important.
A small figure starts stumbling towards the two of you. You recognize it as Caro, another part of your missing scouting group.
Achira's going to shout out, Caro, sound off. Achira's going to pull her long gun and shoot her.
You begin to target as you see another explosion rock. Fire breaks out towards the gate. You see individuals rushing in, armored individuals, all of them dressed in perfect black, wearing the featureless white masks of the Silent Sentinels. They are carrying automatic weapons. They rattle off gunfire, and you watch as some of the people of your community fall, but you can tell they're not aiming for their heads. They're aiming for their chest, their legs, trying to sweep them out so that they fall, dying so that they might raise back up.
Is the Citadel still within the walls?
No, the Citadel left hours ago. A figure grabs at you, Achira. You see another body stumbling towards you. It's Sweetums. Their big, round, pleasant face is now contorted. Black bile is pouring out from their mouths, and their throat has also been slit. But a figure pushes Sweetums aside. Sweetums stumbles and falls as Sugar rushes towards both of you. As Sweetums falls to the ground, the two Romero fight each other, pulling at each other. Sweetums reaches up and grabs a chunk of flesh and hair and pulls it, and you hear an audible rip. Sugar reaches down and grabs onto Sweetums' skull and begins squeezing in front of both of you. And there's a slow cracking noise, like a walnut. And then eventually, the front of Sweetums' head caves in, and the body jolts and stops moving. Sugar looks to you.
It's like, good job, Sugar. Hurry up and come over here. And then I turn to a chair and like, see, I told you. She's different.
Thank you for joining us tonight. This has been the first session of Outbreak Undead, United States of the Dead. We have much more planned for you as the weeks continue. We will be here every Tuesday in the following weeks right here at Hyper RPG. We would like to thank you for your patronage, your support, your kindness. We couldn't do this without you. I'm also excited to say we have so much planned for the future. We're looking forward to sharing this journey with you. We'll be back next week.